evening and welcome to the Twiz County Board of Education meeting. Thank you to our in-person and online communities and stakeholders for joining us this evening. It is my pleasure to call the Twiz County Board of Education meeting to order. Today is Tuesday, June 27th, 2023, and the time is 6:02. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The chair will now entertain a motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, June 27, 2023.
I move that motion to approve the agenda for tonight's meeting.
The motion to approve the agenda for June 27, 2023 has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and second by Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? The question is on the adoption of the motion to approve the agenda for Tuesday, June 27, 2023. All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. The motion passes unanimously. We have the minutes for June the 13th, and they've been distributed. Are there any corrections to these minutes? If there are no further corrections, the minutes are approved as distributed. Now we get the ethics statement from Ms. Blackshear.
Thank you. In accordance with regulations set forth by the Georgia Ethics Commission, it is the duty of every board member to avoid both conflict of interest and interest of such conflict. Does any board member have any known conflict of interest? Seeing none, Mr. Chair, we will proceed with our agenda.
Thank you. Are there any comments from the board, comments or remarks from the board? And none, are there any comments or remarks from the superintendent?
Mr. Chair, Vice Chair, board members, all of those who are with us face-to-face and those who are joining us virtually, I want to just simply thank all of our teachers, our summer school coordinators, our students, and the parents of our students who've attended our summer enrichment program. They have come out and worked diligently on achieving their individual goals in math and reading, and we want to just celebrate them. This is the last week of the summer enrichment program. It officially will close on this coming Thursday. So I wanted to just acknowledge all of the hard work of those young men and young women. I've had an opportunity to visit a couple of times and see them working hard with their teachers, again, working towards their goals. And that's quite commendable that they're over there taking that time out of their summer to do that. And I also want to just remind the community that our school district office and the schools will be closed for the July 4th holiday, and we'll close and we'll reopen after the July 4th holiday. So during the July 4th week, the district office and the schools will be closed for the week of the 3rd of July through the 7th, and the district office and schools will reopen on July the 10th. Mr. Chair, that concludes my announcement.
Thank you, sir.
One thing I just want to add, for as the principals, I know we used to have them come and do their presentation. Can we kind of get a little bit more of that? So they can give us a little bit of hint of what's going on in the building.
Absolutely.
That's what's unique about Tweets. You know, we always have our teachers to come and give presentations. You wanna do- What's going on?
They love parents.
Thank you.
Oh,
But y'all enjoy your summer break.
We also, if you'll notice, we're missing one of our members, Ms. Stokes. She had a fall, so we just want to be mindful to keep her in our prayers. Let's see, where are we? All right, now we'll turn our attention to our business agenda, and Mr. Austin. Um,
Good evening, Board Chair Karstoffen, Vice Chair Rouse, Board members, Superintendent Dr. Bullard, constituents in person and virtually. We are at the last stage, last step in our budget calendar. We've had a robust, thorough, and courageous budget process. This is the sixth budget that I have presented to you all in the capacity of a CFO. So I'm always excited to see the involvement of the process because it's now something that we are culturally embedded with. And it has been awarded for its distinguished nature. And I hope that our collaboration continue to push that effort forward. But the budget does align with our vision of generating excellence, one team, one goal. Our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. It aligns with all of our strategic plan goals. One, learning and wellness for all. Two, excellent ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunities. Three, doing things the Twigs way. Four, growing and sustaining our village. Five, a premier people first organization. Board member Superintendent Dr. Bullard, the advertising of the budget has been followed per our state statute. It has been advertised in our legal organ. It has been advertised on our social media platforms. To my knowledge, we do not have any public comment regarding the budget, Ms. Collins. So we have satisfied 2 public hearings, and we did not have any public comments or from our constituents regarding the budget process at this time. With what's been presented on the last board meeting, I recommend to the superintendent, this is a balanced budget, and to the board for FY24, and to seek approval. Are there any questions?
Are there any questions? Can I get a motion to approve the FY24 budget?
So moved. Second.
The motion to approve the FY24 budget has been properly made by Ms. King and second by Ms. Blackshear. Is there any discussion? Okay, the question is on the motion to approve the budget, the FY24 budget. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously.
Same proposal. Historically, Truist County Public Schools has received a tax anticipation note, which is a short-term borrowing tool that allow the district to satisfy and fulfill short-term obligations in the district month to month, such as payroll and regular operations. Historically, we see in the first quarter of our fiscal year, July, August, and September, we are anticipating the arrival of our tax collection for that year in November, December, and this allows us to fulfill our obligations until that revenue comes in. It does align with our vision to generate excellence, one team, one goal, our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. Our strategic plan goals 1, learning and wellness for all. 2, excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunities. 3, doing things the Twigs way. 4, growing and sustaining our village. And 5, a premier people first organization. The process that we have done in the past and that we'll continue to do is to send out an invitation to bid to financial institutions. These financial institutions will have the opportunity to satisfy the criteria that is set in the letter. So some of the things that we want them to provide to us is the interest rate, any origination fees from the loan, any fees for the draw, or any fees relating to legal fees or just the cost of doing business to actually access those funds. Once they fill this information out, they'll provide any explanation regarding any of the fee structures, and they'll submit this by way of email or in an envelope by mail to our office here. We will open that information in the superintendent's office on July 17th, and we'll look to execute on July 26th. We are presenting this information to you all in June to ensure that if there's any challenges with schedules in July, that we have the opportunity to get it done before the end of July. In addition, one of the requirements that the banks want us to have is to show our cash flow deficit within that period. Exciting things are happening in August and September and October. One thing is that our school-based health clinic, while it will be delivered to us within a few weeks, the bill will come due in either August or September. And that's roughly $328,000, and we'll be reimbursed through ESSER funds. However, we have to carry that balance out of general funds for at least 30 days. So the town will assist us in offsetting that startup cost, and we have furniture that has been presented through L4GA, which is an ESSER fund as well, that'll range over $100,000. So those costs that we will be waiting for reimbursement for, this allows us to offset those costs in the beginning, which is the reason why the TAN amount is higher at $945, because normally it will be anywhere between $600,000 to $750,000 conservatively. So I'm confident that what we'll receive will satisfy all our obligations, and we'll place the bid invites starting today and tomorrow. I sent some out yesterday and, well, last Friday, and then we'll send the rest out this week. Any questions regarding that?
Questions?
So it will be publicized, so we can get bids on it, like we usually do.
Yes, ma'am.
And I see you say the deadline is the 14th of July.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
All right, Mr. Austin,
Yes, sir. I'll keep rolling.
you got your media?
Media, yes, sir.
Yeah, okay.
So the digital media proposal, we talked about this information, I believe in March or April, May board meeting. And it was just to go over the options that we currently have and that we received some quotes from other vendors. We do like the work that's currently being done through our website, our content creation, and things of that nature. And as I stated, we'll bring back before FY24 a vendor of choice to fulfill those digital/graphic design work for Twigs County Public Schools. So here's this presentation regarding that. It does align with our vision, generate excellence, one team, one goal, our mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all students to compete globally. The strategic plan goal that aligns with is number 3, doing things the Twigs way, looking to increase our pride within each classroom and school, and communicating what make Twigs unique. So the company that we're currently using is Mobilista Marketing. The services that will be offered is graphic and logo design, brand management and content strategy, web content maintenance, and social media management. Monthly, the cost that has been quoted and proposed is $4,500, roughly $54,000 for a 12-year period. Of course, the recommendation is to go with Mobilista Marketing for FY24. You will see some examples of the work that the company has created for us in the past. JES events and some of their celebrations are presented in front of us here. Sports-related posts. Reels, which is an engaging tool on social media that has really drawn us and allowed us to market to different audiences. That's been very successful for us. The budget presentation was created and designed through this company. And lastly, all of the information that's on the slider of the website is designed and created by this company as well. And that's an example before you. Any questions? And this is for information. It will be brought back in July for approval.
I have a question. What is the pay in other districts that's the size of our districts for?
It's hard to say because most districts do not have this opportunity of our size. And I say that because our strategic plan goal was designed to market and communicate. And I think that's something we gathered out of the town hall meetings. So that was a response to the needs of what the community wanted. So this was one avenue we used to satisfy that. That may vary from district to district. But I did not research to see that they have a company like this at a smaller district our size. But it does vary. But it's not a position most districts of our size would have.
Are we creating something in our district that is someone following what they're doing so that we can actually have someone in our district that may can do the same thing? Or they, because they've been with us, what, 2 years?
This will be going into the second year.
This will be going to second year.
Yes, ma'am.
So do we have anybody in our district? I know we got Gary, we got Lisa. I'm not naming them names, but do we have anybody in our district that can possibly pick up, and catch on to what she's doing? Is any training going on so that we can build in our system?
There is opportunity for staff to learn. We have staff in other capacities that are extremely talented that can create flyers. However, their primary job will conflict with them fulfilling this full time. I believe that individuals who have more responsibility that looks like this, we can create a plan to ensure that a training session takes place. I believe the company was very open to that. Everyone's skill level varies. Yes, ma'am.
What do you think about that?
We do have individuals, like Mr. Austin said, who are very talented in the school district, who already carry multiple roles. The work that Mobilista Marketing does for us, quite frankly, would encumber a full-time person. And the type of marketing that we're doing with reel creations and et cetera, does take a unique skill set and training. But we certainly can begin to train and cross-train some staff in the district who can potentially pick up some of the work. And so we'll begin looking at that and give you some training opportunities.
Because I know you said a lot of districts don't have it. So, when it comes to push and shove, we can't afford it and we can't do it. So we need to have someone ready.
Yes. A lot of districts, in terms of this level and this depth of work, typically just don't have the skill set inside of the district, because it does require a specific skill set. So that would happen. Somebody would have to go and be trained, have to know about digital marketing, have to know how to create things that would show up on your cell phone, not just on your computer. You would have to be able to do it real time. Graphic design and having a graphic eye isn't something everybody has.
Right. I agree.
And being able to manage and show, the engagement from the research as well, from the digital market. She shows us that. How many people are hitting each reel and how many people are actually looking at each site, she showed us that data. So it is a definite a skill set. Somebody can be trained, you have to train somebody, so we'll look at that.
Question. How long? You said we had 2 years?
1 year.
No, 1 year? You're going to the second year?
This will be the second.
And we have a contract last year with this company? Or did we pay monthly, or how we pay?
So we paid monthly. The difference with last year that we did not cross our $25,000 threshold. They started roughly in August, September, and I think we ended in April, somewhere in there.
So that way, you didn't go over the 25,000?
No, sir, not with this particular vendor. No, sir. And we approved it for the remainder of the year. At that point, we was approaching 25,000. But prior to that, we was right at the mark. That's why we brought it for approval, because we did go with 25,000 after. Yes, sir.
Okay, also, back off what Ms. Blackshaw said. I understand that, we got people that's busy out here, and I can't get to all this, but we contracting a lot of stuff out there. We can multitask, I think. We need to look into multitasking people. It ain't like we got those kind of funds. Other districts our size got more funds than we have, and they don't have this. And I understand, I'm not trying to not do the two-way way, but if you can't afford to drive the Cadillac, then you need to go and drive a Volkswagen or something. I'm just saying that I don't see this. I don't see spending this kind of money. It's something that I think we have people that's qualified to do this, if they allow them a chance to do it.
Yes, sir.
Are there any other comments?
Got one more question. Did we have any other bids for this?
Yes, sir. So the quotes that we presented the last board meeting was the same quotes that we compared to. So that was 2 companies in the middle Georgia area. Yes, sir. So we did provide 3 quotes. That's how we approved them going forward. And we used those same 3 companies, same other 2 companies for comparison. Yes, sir. And I'd be more than happy to reshare that presentation prior to the July board meeting.
Go send me a book. I appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Austin.
Yes, sir.
So we have the landscaping and summer project update. Mr. Bacon.
How everybody doing? Oh, okay, all right. Good to see you guys. Board Chair Christoffen, board members, and constituents home and away, here and away. My name is Tyrone Bacon, Executive Director of Operations, and I'd like to talk to you about the landscaping RFP. And tonight it will be for an action item, if the board so chooses. So, last board meeting, I presented to you the landscaping RFP and a copy of our requirements. But first, I'd like to remind you who we are. We are a district with a vision, generating excellence, one team, one goal, with the mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all of our students to compete globally. So just to give you our strategic learning focus areas, learning and wellness for all, academic excellence ahead, academics, facilities, and opportunity. So basically, in the last meeting, we talked about what are some of the basic things that we are looking for when we look for a landscape contractor, and our performance. So the contract is usually for 1 year with up to 3 years based on performance. The RFP outlines such things as the mowing height, the mulching, those kinds of requirements, the equipment that we use, pesticides, things like that, and times and schedules. So we had a RFP timeline that we followed. and we're trying to get this through. Of course, with different things going on, we didn't hit all of our timeline targets, but we did have a contractor walk through. We try to walk through the RFP and timeline so that we can have a new contract if the board so chooses, starting July 1. So there was only one bidder for our landscape services, and that was Dane Landscaping. We did put it all out on all our social media, on our websites. The bid to provide landscaping services to the district their bid is $75,300. That is $10,000 more than their previous contract that was executed in 2019. In accordance with the board policy, all purchases more than $25,000 must be authorized by the Twiggs County Board of Education. We seek the board's approval to enter into a contractual agreement with Dane Landscaping Company. The amount for the contracted services will be $75,300 per year of the contract. Questions?
It's surprising we didn't get but one bid.
Yes, ma'am. And that, it did surprise me as well. The last time we had 5 different companies, we did send out solicitations, letting people know as well as putting it on our website. There's a labor shortage and some other contractors, so that's what I think. But I thought we would have some local, well, Dane Landscaping, let me correct myself. Dane Landscaping is local. The owner is from Twiggs, lives in Twiggs, owns land in Twiggs. It's a local company, but I thought we'd have more local interest. Let me say that.
I did hear you say what the price increase from the last contract was.
$10,000 more.
$10,000 more.
Yes, sir. And I don't know if the board members that were here 4 years ago, remember we had ranges anywhere from 60-some odd thousand, which was Dane Landscaping, to 105,000, and we had some all in between that. It is my belief that the price is still below market for what we get in the services that we receive.
Did you do any negotiation? Did you negotiate with them a little bit to try to, get them to go down a little bit?
The negotiation would be up to you if you'd like me to go back and you throw a number and I throw a number and we throw numbers.
Or you just accepted the first thing that they told you to do?
I didn't even accepted anything. It's up for the board to
No.
accept.
So, 10,000.
Right, and that's important to remember. It's over the course of the 3-year period. So if we keep them, this will remain static for 4 years. So they won't be able to come back to us for 4 years. They can't ask for anything in that 4-year period, if you so choose.
They're doing a good job.
I would definitely agree with that. They are what I would call for us a zero management company for us. When we call, we set up our schedule. If you are here at graduation, you see what they do. You are here every day. They get it done. So I think us going back with them, if you so choose, is not necessarily, it's not bad. We really don't have to manage them.
The beds and yards will remain weed-free. So we don't have any weeds in the beds.
Uh, uh, they do. They do weed the beds. I can't go. I don't want you to walk out there tonight and see some
Gotcha.
weeds out there.
Okay.
But they do a fantastic job. And not that this is all interesting to you guys, we moved away from wood chips, which was our primary thing, to the pine straw. I think it makes a better appearance. We'll be moving to pine straw. JES, they requested pine straw as well when we start the new contract as well. So and that keeps the weeds down, makes it look a little bit better. And I think the shrubs are doing a little bit better because they're able to keep some moisture. So they do that.
Are there any other questions? Then can I get a motion to approve the landscaping RFP? I have a motion. Can I get a second? Okay, so it has the motion to approve the landscaping RFP has been properly made by Ms. King and second by Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? Okay, the question is on the adoption of the motion to approve the landscaping RFP. All those in favor say yes. Yes. The motion passes unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Bacon. You got another?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Summer project update.
So, our major summer projects update. So Board Chair Christoffen, board members. First, before I start, I just want to say that the work that we've done thus far, I think, one, was needed, two, very valuable, will serve us long term, and I think you'll be very proud of what has, if you would go in the buildings and thus far. And I definitely want to take this time to thank the tremendous operations team, the custodians who are having to work around all of this, even the summer school teachers who are having to move as we're moving in and out, as well as the maintenance staff trying to make all of this happen, because summer school ends this week, we're closed next week, and we'll be in school right before you know it. So definitely want to thank all of those people who are out here working very diligently, and even though they're not in my department, the technology department, they're doing some work too. So once again, I'd like to remind us that we are a district creating excellence, generating excellence, one team, one goal, with the mission to inspire, challenge, and prepare all of our students to compete globally. And our strategic focus areas for this is learning and wellness for all, excellence ahead, academics, facility, and opportunity. As Mr. Rouse referenced my book, my notebook, these are some very expensive binders, I just want to say.
That's a raise. That's a raise for somebody.
That's a grade.
A raise.
A raise. This binder? I bought them myself, sir, on my own pocket.
It still would have been a raise.
It would have been a raise. And so you're spending as a board this summer a tremendous amount of money. And let's change that. This summer you're investing a tremendous amount of money. Tremendous. So it's probably the most money that we've invested in this short a period of time since I've been here 11 years. So, and Mr. Rouse brought up a point last meeting, on clarity. So I wanted to make sure, hey, I wanted them to have everything that I have and then have it in a place. And then I will add to this, where if you have a question, because you are spending quite a bit of money. Now, some of it is grant money, and some of it is SPLOS money, and some of it is general money. but it's still quite a bit. And people may ask a question, want to know something, you may want to know something. So I put this together so that, one, you can keep track of it. I have one, the superintendent has one, Mr. Austin has one, so that we can track what it is that we're doing. And like I said, it's not totally complete, but definitely I will be adding this, and it'll be a way that you can keep that, because we are making these investments, and they'll be rolling out. With that, I'll start. So the first thing that you see, when we get approval, when I get an approval for a major project, I create timelines. I create timelines just like any project manager would, so that, and I share these timelines with myself, the central office staff, our vendors, as well as maintenance and operations team, so that we keep this in track, because we're really running a three-ring circus right now. But luckily for us, we're phasing in projects. Like right now, we're phasing in and out of the lighting upgrade as well as the painting. And we're phasing to our track as well as our school-based health clinic the second half. So we want to definitely be out of the way of the teachers and the principals as they're coming back in, and so we can do some outside stuff. So we create one of these, you can go to the next slide, for every project. And you can see our classroom upgrades. If you look at our classroom, one of the driving factors that we have in our classroom upgrades and all of our upgrades this year is the supply chain. You'll see that one of the things, that green line, would be furniture ordering and processing. We've made investments in furniture, and everybody's making investments in furniture. Furniture's having a hard time getting here. So you can see that some of our completion dates go well into after school starts. Yes, I see that, Ms. Christoffen. We didn't want that either. So we'll have to do that on a weekend, switch all the furniture out. So that's another thing that we'll have to do. We really wanted that big bang surprise when school started, new furniture, new paint, new everything. But we're gonna make that happen. We're still proud of the work that's being done. And like I said, that painting and electrical upgrades will be finished on Friday. The computer science lab, we do expect that to be on tap and ready to go the first week of school, because that's a class. We were fortunate with the furniture. Mr. Basley fortunate enough to get the computers in. So we feel like if everything falls in place, that will be ready before the kids come in. The actual room with all of its upgrades and electrical and all that other stuff has been completed. So we feel real good about that, having to come up with that. And it wasn't initially on our scope of work. And finally, the last one you see is the track renovation and resurfacing. Initially, we were going to start in July, but the vendor had several tracks and things that he had in the area, and his concrete person was here, asked if they could do the jump pits and things while he had people in the area. So that's why we have a little earlier start date. But as you can see, we're looking at a completion date around August 11th. We expect sooner than that. But of course, we've been having quite a bit of rain and thunderstorms and wet weather, and all of that plays a factor. Even if it's not raining, the moisture in the ground and all of that will play a factor in that. But materials are coming in from the vendor so that we can start that. So our classroom lighting upgrades, the LED lights, and please, I think I would love to take you on a tour right before school to show you all of the investments that you have made, and the parents to see them on open house. We budgeted, we projected a budget of $80,000, and our actual cost will be $80,000. And in your book, you have ranges anywhere from $110,000 for a turnkey to about $60,000 to $70,000 for just the lights. So it really ranged, and I think we got a good deal, and I think it looks really nice. That's far. We initially budgeted $108,000 for JES to be painted, and projected $45,000 for the middle school. Our actual was $98,000 for Jeffersonville Elementary, and the middle school, $48,000. And that was a complete refresh at the elementary school, the entire building, from the front all the way to the back, and the middle school. It is our plan, if budget remains strong and with financially fiscally healthy, to phase in the high school during the course of the year. The computer lab, we initially budgeted, estimated a cost of $113,502. Our actual cost ended up being $84,642. Do want to thank Mr. Bathley for doing the research and working with our vendors and negotiating a good price on the computers, which was a driving factor in cost. So thank him for helping us get that substantially down. We projected a budget of $490,000 for our track, and the actual cost to date, track resurfacing will be about $400,000, tree removal, $17,000, the walkways, and that's several walkways. There's two, one coming from the parking lot all the way to the track, and then another one coming from the 600 building to the track because it was kind of washed out. And of course, a set of bleachers. And the only thing that we're lacking or looking for, we've been having a really tough time with a fencing company, finding a fencing company. We've called several. They haven't shown up. We have an appointment on tomorrow with another fencing company. And the fencing keeps us up late at night because we don't want someone to drive on our brand new track and tear up our track. So we'll be putting some things in place, some barriers before we leave to make sure that doesn't happen. But hopefully we'll get a fencing company, a reputable fencing company to come in and do that for us. Major roof repairs. As we said, we're not doing any roof changes or major roof renovations, but we are doing our roof mitigation strategy. We initially budgeted $40,000, and our actual cost to date is $23,278, and a majority of that has been at the high school. Replacement furniture, JES and Twiggs County Middle School. We projected a budget of $190,000, and our actual cost is $187,411. And Mr. Austin made mention to this in his speech about we have some grant funds also buying furniture. L4GA is buying furniture for the media center. We projected a budget of $85,000 for this project, and our actual cost is $67,556. I would like to say all the furniture is being bought off a state contract, so we get the best pricing. So with that, board members, do you have any questions? I will allow the superintendent to set the date for the tour. I definitely would like the date to be once we get the furniture in and we get it in. But you guys are always in and out of the buildings, and you'll see some of those things. But I think the grand coup de grace would be, when we get the furniture in, and of course, whenever we get the track finished and it's got to sit and settle for a minute, a grand opening for the track. So we got a lot of things that we can definitely share with the community coming up. That's really not my forte. I leave that to the people that do that.
First, I'd like to say, Mr. Bacon, I think you do a tremendous job. I like the way you save us money. My question, the last board meeting, I wasn't asking for all this, but I appreciate that. But my question, and maybe I don't understand this, and then maybe you all could help me. Normally, I know we gave you okay on the price that you had gave for the estimate that the job would be done. I just didn't know that. I thought you would present us with some bids of certain companies that we was going to be using instead of just bringing it back to us.
Yes, sir.
And that was my question.
Right, sir. So we did two different things tonight. So the first thing, let's get an example of the landscaping RFP. You gave no authorization for what to spend or any of that. So I presented you the RFP, and that's our standard. You said, this is the RFP for information. I came back to you, here's the people that presented the RFP, here's the cost, and then you approved the RFP and the cost. Because of our timeline, what I think we got, I asked for a spending authorization. Hey, the first information, and I put that in your notebook so we can, the first time I presented to you a range of what a project might cost. All right, so we went through that. And then the second time, I kind of did some research, and I had that cost lowered down to ask for a spending authorization because of our timeline. We only meet once a month. I'm trying to meet the timeline. So and even though you approved the amount of money, which up front. So then if a project is I'm getting bids anyway. So if any of those projects we thought were going to be over the $100,000 range, so let's say painting, for instance, I projected that based on the national cost per square foot, that what we were looking for, that the cost would be over $100,000. We then issued an RFP and put that out there on the street. And then we got bids. We got 3 companies to bid. We went through the bidding process. And because it was under the spending authorization, we went with that. So that was a little bit different than before because of the timeline that we were doing. So you authorized us to spend X number of dollars in advance. Did I explain that?
I hear what you're saying. And, I guess what I don't actually understand how. Okay, we gave you a spending authorization.
Mm-hmm.
That still don't tell me about you seeing the bid. It was over 25,000,
Right.
and because we gave you a spending authorization, does that help me? Does that say that you can do that without bringing the bids to the board? And I mean, I understand you was on the timeline,
Right,
and I
right.
appreciate
So-
the work that you've done. I'm just trying to get
Right.
understanding.
So I'm trying. So what it is, we went ahead based on the number that we were given to go out and solicit bids and things like that. So in your book, you have the winning bid. We went through the regular process. We didn't just get a person. We still had to put up RFP out, go through the RFPs, grade those RFPs. We went through the whole process. It just allowed us to work a little faster. Let's say, for instance, all of the bids came back at $200,000. Then we couldn't hire anybody because we didn't have permission from the board to hire anybody to spend that kind of money. So that's the kind of way that we were doing a spending authorization. But I understand the confusion. I understand what we used to do in practice, and perhaps my job, and I didn't do a very good job of it, is explaining that a little bit ahead of time, so that we could be clear. Because when I heard your question, I said, he's not. Maybe we got a misconnection. So I made sure that for transparency, that everything that we have, everything that we did, and I
didn't know whether you accepted, how many bids you accepted. I didn't know if anybody else bid it or not. And the work was already being done.
Yes, sir.
And the board did not know.
I understand where you're coming from. I understand from.
But back
Yeah.
to what I said, I always say you do a great job, and I think
Yes,
you
sir.
save us money. But I'm just trying to make sure that as a board, we know what's going on.
Yes, sir. And I think, like I said, I once I heard your question, I was definitely concerned that the board, you as a board member, felt as though you didn't have all the information that you needed at the time, and that I didn't properly explain that procedurally wise to you, so you felt comfortable with what you were seeing. So I take full blame for that. And so when I heard that, I said, let me get the board as much information as they may need to clarify that. Because we thought, hey, we asked for the spending authorization. We're following, state and local protocol for purchasing. We thought we were in line with that, but I can clearly see that we had a miscommunication, and I definitely don't want that to happen again.
We good.
I'm glad we could.
I asked what I want to know. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you. You're welcome, sir.
We got bids like this. Yes. So I just want to add this on, for clarification. When we have bids like, painting, this is repainting. JES and middle school, the project budget was 108 for JES, and we paid 98, and the one for the middle school was 45, and we paid 48. I know you said we're doing things as a habit, because we're used to seeing, used to bring us like 2 bids, 3 bids, so we can look at it and say, hey, you recommend this one, Dr. Bullock? So, I mean, we'll look at it and say, okay, yeah, we think this is the best one. So it won't look like it's a one-man job. This is a team, this is a board's job, this is your job. You're doing a great job, like Mike said. But let us bid on it and see what's best, what we feel is best as well with the project that we. Yeah.
We had a lot of things going on. We didn't know if we were going to have the money. So, like I said, I do understand once Mr. Ralph made his statement at the last board. At the last board meeting. Once Mr. Rouse made his statement at the last board meeting, that clicked in my head that I didn't communicate effectively. We didn't sit down and understand the process, and maybe I should have explained it. I think if we ought to understand the process and the timeline, that we all would have been good with it. Is that now we're having to learn that after the fact, in your opinion. And we thought we were clear up here, but sometimes we're smarter than we look. And it makes it difficult. But that's why I wanted to make sure that as much clarity and much transparency was available to you.
Appreciate that.
I'm smarter, yeah, sometimes
I don't think that came out.
Anyway, again, thank you, Mr. Bacon.
You sure this?
Yeah, we'll,
You better-
in the future, we'll get it all.
Yes, and we'll make sure,
All right, thank you very much.
yes.
Okay, at this time, we want to make an amendment to the calendar. And I think that's the July 11th date. We're going to just cancel that date. And so we need to get the board approval for that. And so at this time, I entertain a motion to cancel the July 11th. You good? Cancel the July 11th date. Can I get a motion?
I move that motion.
Second?
A second.
Okay. The motion to cancel the July 11th board meeting has been properly made by Ms. Blackshear and second by Mr. Rouse. Is there any discussion? Okay, the question is on canceling the board meeting on July 11th. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes unanimously. And now we have a district request from the superintendent.
Yes, Mr. Chair, and board members. We only had one district request for a field trip, of which the board has already approved electronically. We'll ratify the minutes to that effect, but for the sake of our audience, we did have a request for our 5th and 6th grade 4-H students to attend the 4-H summer camp. at Rock Eagle, and that trip did leave on Monday, and they'll be there with the 4-H members from around the state and return on the 30th. With your approval, the trip did proceed, and they are there learning and enjoying the summer camp at Rock Eagle at this time.
Thank you. At this time, I make a motion that we move into executive session to discuss personnel matters, future acquisition of property, pending or potential litigation, school safety, or cyber security. Can I get a motion to, can I get a second to move into executive session? Okay, it has been motioned by me, Board Chair Karstoffen, and second by Ms. Blackshear, that we move into executive session. All in favor, say yes. Okay, the motion passes unanimously. At this time, we'll move into executive session. this time, I entertain a motion to return from executive session.
I made that motion.
Second.
It has been properly, the motion has been properly made by Mr. Rouse and second by Ms. Blackshear that we return from executive session. So the question is, a motion to return from executive session. All in favor, say yes.
Yes.
The motion passes unanimously. We have two new hires and a resignation that we want to consider. We have one new hire, 4845 and 4815. We have one resignation, 3261. Can I get a motion to accept the new hires and the resignation?
So moved.
I got a motion. Can I get a second?
Second.
It has been properly motioned by Ms. King and second by Ms. Blackshear that we accept the two new hires along with the resignation. Are there any questions? The question is that do we accept the new hires and the resignation? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
It passes unanimously. Is there any other business that needs to be discussed at this time? If not, the meeting is adjourned.